Okay, guys, let me make this quick. This is gonna be a video. No sweet ass intro. No, hey, whatever. No, it's about Eli Manning. It's about him getting benched. It's about him being disrespected. And yes, I mean that, disrespected. Now, this video might be 5 to 10 minutes. It might be longer, so bear with me for as long as it takes to get my point across. This benching, I understand the sentiment of you want to see what you have. I do. But you're not going to see what you have in Geno Smith. Geno Smith had his chance in the NFL, and he failed really fucking badly when he couldn't pay his teammate back 50 fucking bucks he borrowed and got in a fight with him. And then his teammate got blamed for it. You're not going to tell me you're going to find answers in a rookie quarterback you haven't even given second team reps to. You're not going to tell me that your team would be any better off without just waiting until the offseason. To me, that's what they should have done. They should have waited until the offseason. They missed their chance. Their team was 1-6. The trade line was coming up. Eli Manning could have been traded for a really good draft pick or something to maybe the Jaguars, who have a wildly inconsistent Blake Bortles, who have his previous coach Tom Coughlin in the office. That could have happened. Now look at his career numbers. He's been sacked 354 times for a loss of 2,439 yards. 354 times he's been sacked. The most he's been sacked in a single year, 39. And this year alone, in 11 games, he's been sacked 26 fucking times. 26. Tell me that's not the product of your not your offensive line. Tell me that's a product of Eli Manning. Look at your team's record. You lost Odell. You lost Brandon Marshall. You lost Sterling Shepard for your big chunk of your season so far. You've lost some key defenders. I understand that. But 26 sacks. What quarterback is going to sit there, take 26 sacks, and still have a 2-to-1 interception touchdown ratio or touchdown to interception ratio? What quarterback is going to do that? There's maybe 4 or 5 in the league that could take a beating like that and still have an interception touchdown ratio like that. His rating's only 84, but what does he have on that team? Honestly, to me, you look at that offense, he has one good player around him, and that's Ingram. That's it. A rookie tight end. That's the only good player on that offense besides Eli Manning. This coach, Ben McAdoo, he's a huge fucking joke. Ben McAdoo's just a joke. He's doing this to one of two reasons. The reason he gave, to see what they have, which in layman's terms, to save his ass, because it's the only chance he's still the coach of the New York Giants next year. I get I'm excusing Eli's poor performances as of late on the loss of Eli Manning and Brandon Marshall, even though he never connected with Brandon Marshall, really. But I'm not excusing Ben McAdoo. I don't excuse the coach when injuries happen like this. When you're the coach, you set up your roster for shit like this. You can't tell me you only have 2 receivers on your roster that is capable of that. I do apologize for that. Now, I'll look at his career stats real quick. 334 touchdowns, 222 interceptions. 112 fumbles. Not all were lost, though. So, he basically has... Shut the fuck up, Madden! Shut the fuck up. Now, 334 touchdowns in 13 years. It's not great. It's not good. It's good. Well, it's good. It's not great, though. His worst year, and the year I think he should have been benched, 2013, he had 18 interceptions and 27 touchdowns. 18 touchdowns and 27 interceptions. 27 interceptions. Compared to this year, he would need to throw 4 touchdowns and 20 interceptions to match that. But if you're John Mara, do you tell me at this point that you believe Eli's not the answer? But in 2013, after that shitty-ass year, you still thought he was the answer? Are you telling me that at 2013 you thought he was the answer, but now you're giving up? You can't tell me that. So what does it come down to? It comes down to Ben McAdoo saving his own ass. Ben McAdoo doing this for himself. Because he has no resemblance of respect. He's benched cornerbacks for the stupidest reasons ever. He's yelled at his team for a lack of effort, even though he hasn't shown any effort whatsoever from himself. He had a hand-off play calling duties to his offensive coordinator because he couldn't do his fucking job. He was hired to change that offense, and he can't do it. He can't do the job. He can't lead men. Ben McAdoo is a failure as a head coach for a great franchise. Granted, I give New York credit. They're the last franchise to start an African American quarterback, I believe, or they're starting the first African American quarterback in franchise history at least. But like I said, do not tell me you're doing this to see what you have on the roster and only do it at quarterback. Do not tell me you're doing it to see what you have on your roster and all you have is Geno Smith and Davis Webb. I'm not insulting Davis Webb whatsoever. He might be a good quarterback in the future, but you can't tell me any of those guys will be better than Eli Manning even next year. You cannot tell me that. You cannot tell me that you want Geno Smith as your starter next year. You could tell me maybe at some point next year Davis Webb might start, but if you thought Davis Webb was going to be a franchise quarterback, in my opinion, and you thought he was going to be your future, you would have made him your second string quarterback. I think I read something somewhere about Davis Webb hasn't taken a second string snap all season. So you knew Geno Smith was a backup. You accepted that he was Eli's backup. But now that you're 1-9 or 2-9 or whatever, you've given up on Eli. Not when you were 1-6 and could have traded him. Not when you were any worse or when you were realistically out of the playoffs. You waited till you were mathematically out to do this. But then you give him the offer, oh, you can still start the first half of games to keep your streak going. That right there is the ultimate sign of disrespect, because saying that alone proves your reasoning's bullshit. If you're doing it to see what you have, you wouldn't offer him to start in the first half of games. If you want to see what you have, you'd stick that quarterback in the full game. Maybe stick Geno Smith in the first half, maybe Davis Webb second half, or do what fucking Michigan did with Tom Brady when he was quarterback at Michigan. Start Geno Smith first quarter, start Davis Webb second quarter, and go from there. You know what I mean? I don't get how you can be so selfish, Ben McAdoo, that you do this. Should Eli Manning have been benched? Yes. At this point, no. You've stuck with him too long at this point into the season just to make up your mind in the last quarter of the year. Be like, yeah, we're going to bench him. 5 games left. You give yourself 5 games to see what you have. That's it. When you were 1-6, you were not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but realistically, you weren't rattling off a 9-game win streak without Odell, without Marshall, without all them on offense. You weren't doing it. That was your chance. When the trade line was coming up, that was your chance to maybe trade Eli Manning to a franchise for a draft pick or something and then see what you had. If you were ever planning on moving on Eli. But doing this now, after 11 games into the season, you're not coming back to Eli. As an organization, as a coach, you cannot come back to Eli and expect to get any form of fucking respect from anybody. If Eli Manning is the starting quarterback for the New York Giants next year, then I no longer have any respect for what the owner of the Giants has done. Unless he gets rid of McAdoo, and that's why Giants start, and that's why Eli starts. That's it. No respect for the fucking Giants organization after this bullshit if Eli starts next year. You obviously don't plan on having Eli around much longer if you let your coach do this. You obviously should just let him move on. Let him go somewhere else and call it that. Eli is done in New York. As sad as it say, after over 210 straight games of blood, sweat, and tears, taking 354 sacks, he's done in New York. A team he's played for his whole career. And that's how it ends. Is a head coach's ego. Hey guys, let me know what you think about Eli Manning's benching in the comment section down below. Thank you for listening to me rant. It was good to get that off my chest. I'll see you guys in the next one, if anything else preposterous happens. Peace.